Did you really think I was going to complete Halloween without a bloody look? Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit hard to speak because my liquid latex is almost like kind of sealing my mouth shut, so I'm gonna try and talk as best as I can. But hi guys, welcome to another video. This makeup tutorial is going to be what I like to call Death by Coachella, or just some sort of like festival girl gone zombie. So I was actually inspired by this flower crown that I made like a long time ago, and it's supposed to look like that Snapchat filter that gives you the flower crown. And I was like, you know what, I want to make one. And then I saw this the other day and I was like, you know what, I want to create like a festival look, but I want to turn her into a zombie, because what's Halloween without zombies and blood? And these are actually like my favorite looks to do during Halloween, is to create things that are like cute but then just completely disgusting. Like I wanted to have her skin just like peel and be nasty. So surprisingly, this look is actually really quick to do. The only part that took the most time was actually like completing my full face of makeup, but doing just this by itself, I want to say it took less than 30 minutes. It's super simple. So I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. The makeup I didn't film just because it's basically like a cut crease sort of glam, but this is what I wanted the focus to be on today. I wanted to get this video up because I didn't know if I was going to get another Halloween video up before October ended, and I knew that I wanted to do like a bloody zombie look. This is the #1 request that I get every time, and I did this on my Facebook a year ago. Actually, it was a live stream on how to create like cuts and scrapes and zombie ones like this, but I figured doing a video would be an easier reference, because the live stream was on my timeline and it just takes like forever and ever to scroll all the way down. So I figured like I'm just gonna make it into a video. I can keep it on my YouTube channel, and then if anyone wants to just look back on it for reference, they can just go ahead and pull this up. So I'm gonna show you step by step how I do it. If you guys want to do some kind of zombie cut look, or if you just want to scare the crap out of people this Halloween, which is what I absolutely love to do, then stick around. I will show you guys exactly what you need, and I will show you how to execute this look. So before we actually jump into the tutorial portion, let me show you what you guys need so you're all set up and prepped for success for cutting open your face and creating scars, wounds, and just kind of like blasting your face open, which is what we're going to do today. So the first thing that you're gonna need, this is like a complete necessity for this look, is liquid latex. I usually go for the Ben Nye or the Mehron brand, which I have only been able to find online on their websites. Reason being is because they have a flesh toned liquid latex that I find works best with my skin tone. It blends really easily, but I wasn't able to order it in time, so I just went to Spirit and I found their brand version of liquid latex. So this one comes with a sponge. It comes in a 1 ounce bottle, which a 1 ounce bottle is nice unless you want to go for the bigger bottle. That's if you're going to be using it more throughout the year. I've ordered the bigger bottles from previous Halloweens, and I've found that before the next Halloween it's already dried up and it's not even usable. So the smaller the better. I'm gonna guess that this one is a white toned liquid latex, which is how they usually come when you buy them at like Halloween stores, any costume store. But if you can find the flesh tone, if it works for you, great. But we're gonna use the white one and just blend it with foundation and just some other cream products that I have laying around. To make the actual skin, you are going to be using tissue. So this is a napkin. It was a 2-ply napkin that I just pulled apart from the center, and I just crumpled this as best as I could. So if you have any kind of napkin, tissue paper, toilet paper, anything that has like a pattern on it, something that's like quilted, for example, this one had like seashells and some crimping on it, that pattern is going to transfer onto your face. So if you can find any toilet paper, tissue paper that doesn't have any like designs on it, that works best. Like I said, this one did have a little bit of pattern on it, so I just crumpled it as best as I could, because this is just going to look like torn, just kind of messed up skin anyways. So I just hit it as best as I could. And we're not even going to use that much of this tissue. We're probably going to use like a quarter of this sheet, if that, like probably this little square right here, because you really don't need a lot to make torn skin. You're also gonna need just some paints to work with that's gonna create the illusion that you have like rotting skin, bleeding skin. This one I think is like a zombie makeup stack This is from, the brand is Theatrical Effects. I want to say I got this at Spirit also, like years ago. It's basically cream makeup. They have it in a couple different colors, so I'm going to use these to create the base of our like open wound for our cut. So if you have like any eyeshadows that are like these sort of vampy colors, and you can always use like yellow or green, whatever you have lying around, it's not really gonna matter, because when you put on your actual blood, then that's when it starts to look realistic. So this is blood gel, also from Theatrical Effects. I think, I want to say I got both of these at Spirit, but one of my favorites to use is actually the Mehron brand Coagulated blood gel. This is like what seals the deal on the look. This blood gel's like super sticky and glossy, and it just creates the illusion that you have like real blood coming out of your wound. Like your wound doesn't look completely realistic until you put this on. Like I said, this blood gel works just as fine. I just like this one a whole lot. I think this one's worth ordering just because the texture, the actual appearance of it looks like real blood. So if you can find this, go for it. If not, just go to Spirit and get this. It's totally fine. Any kind of like cosmetic brushes that you don't mind using once and then throwing away, I'm going to use a foundation sponge to actually, or foundation brush to put on the liquid latex, and then I'm just going to throw it away after because they're like $2 at the craft store. But I think that's all we need. So I'm going to now switch over to a voiceover for two reasons. One, it's a lot easier for me to get into the zone and just like do what I'm doing and then just voice over it later. I'm gonna do my best to keep it as detailed and as easy as possible. So whether it's like your first time or your 10th time doing open wounds, I'm gonna try and break it down as best as I can. And reason number two, it is like 103 degrees in San Diego today. I have 3 lights going on in my room, and I need to put some sort of air on because my makeup's gonna melt off, and it's just really, really hot today. And it's so weird because Halloween's next week, and I usually associate Halloween with the cold weather, and we're barely even there yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will see you guys in a little bit. So I'm starting off with the Stila Kajal eyeliner in Topaz. It's basically just a nude eyeliner. You could also use white if you wanted to. And I'm mapping out the area where I'm going to have my skin torn open. This is just going to help as a reference for when I apply all my liquid latex on and all my tissue, but you can completely skip this step if you want to. So as you can see, I'm actually starting with the foundation brush, but I found that the sponge that my liquid latex came with actually worked a lot better. Well, basically what you're going to do is just put down a layer of liquid latex and then top it with a layer of tissue paper. So you want to make sure that you rip all the edges of the tissue paper, because any straight edges will show onto your skin, and that's just going to make it look a little bit more artificial. And the less liquid latex you use, the better. You want it to be thin. This is what's going to create the skin that we're going to tear open. So we're going to start with just the base layers of it. So I'm just going back and forth, putting down some liquid latex and then covering it with tissue. You want to make sure that your tissue is fully covered on all sides with liquid latex, because that's also going to create the texture of skin once it dries. So you just want to keep working bit by bit, small layers. This part was probably the most time-intensive part of the process. I want to say this whole part took me about 20 minutes, so it's not too long, but it does take a while. I also did start with a full face of makeup, which I usually don't because I was filming an intro with my full face, but you can always just start with the bare face and then do all of your makeup and everything else that you need to do afterwards. So here I'm using the sponge. It just works so much easier, and you really don't need a whole lot of tissue. Like I said, we were only using maybe a small square's worth of tissue from that napkin, but make this as intense as you want to. I love to create the look of flappy skin, so I like to make it thicker in certain spots. Thinking you're want to give your liquid latex a few minutes to dry before you move on. I just turned on my AC and that helped it speed up the process just a little bit. So now I'm taking my foundation. This is actually the foundation I have on my face right now. It's the LA Girl Pro Coverage. Any high definition, high coverage foundation will work best for this, because if you use anything that's kind of sheer or a tinted moisturizer, you're going to see the napkin and the liquid latex through, and we're trying to cover up all that white and yellow stuff that we got going on. So you'll just apply this all over the liquid latex and the tissue, and I set mine with a powder. I used just my regular face powder, and I used a couple kind of orange tone powders just because I do have a little bit of a warmer skin tone, and I just wanted to add that onto the fake skin. So just blend however you feel works best with your skin tone or your makeup, and let that dry for a couple minutes. So for this next part, I'm using a makeup spatula. If you don't have one of these, you can also just use the back end of some tweezers. Those work just fine as well. And I am peeling apart the inside edges of the skin. So this is going to create the look of the flappy skin, the look that our face just got blasted open. You want to make sure to avoid any of the outside edges of the skin, otherwise it's going to ruin the illusion. I'm working really slowly, so this isn't even sped up. This is how slow I'm actually taking off the liquid latex, and you're just basically pulling it apart from your regular skin. And like I said, I like the look of it being a little bit flappy, so if you'll see that part on my cheek, it's a lot thicker, it's a lot wider than the rest of my wound, because when we pull it back open, it's gonna look like my skin is actually fully torn. So I like that look, but do whatever you want to for this. Get super creative with it. And if you want to create some rips in your skin, that'll make it look a little bit more disgusting and realistic. But I would actually go into the tissue and rip it yourself with your fingers, as opposed to just using like scissors to cut it. Because what the scissors are going to do is it's going to create just like a straight line cut, whereas a rip's going to look a little bit more authentic and organic. So now with your newly torn skin, you actually want to make it look more realistic by putting more foundation on the inside and also on the edges that you might have ripped. So I'm just taking the same foundation and the same foundation brush, and I'm just going over everything one more time. Here I'm taking a Revlon foundation. This is actually a foundation that I use to contour, and I'm just putting that on the inside edges where the fake skin meets my natural skin, just to create some dimension in the look. This is completely optional, but I just like to make it look a little bit more detailed. So I'm just taking the same brush, and then I'm just going to blend that all out on the inside part of our newly created wound. Now I'm taking that zombie paint stack that I showed you guys earlier. I'm just taking one of the red colors, and I'm laying down the base for the blood that we're about to put. So here's a little trick. If you finish your liquid latex work and there's some parts that you want to kind of cover up because it looks a little bit obvious that what you have on is fake, you can just take some of the paint or some of the blood and then just kind of dab it all over and just make it look a little bit more messy. I've also taken like a purple plum eyeshadow and created bruising that way and just blended it out. So you can completely come up with just little hacks to make this look a little bit more real, a little bit more messy. But after you've laid down the paint, we can move on to the Coagulated blood gel. So again, this is by Mehron. This one is my favorite, and like I said, Spirit has one too, but if you can find this one, I would go for this one. You just put it on your wound and then just spread it out with a foundation brush. You can use a sponge if you want to also, but I was going to throw this sponge later
throw it away later anyways. So you're just going to rub that all over. And if you want to, before you put on the blood, you can create some more detailing within the wound. I've seen people do more bruising, some muscle striations. Do whatever you want to. I just wanted to create this really simply and just make it a simple tutorial for you guys. You can put as much or as little blood as you'd like. I like mine to look super juicy, and I actually like to put some on the flaps of skin that we created as well, just to make it look a little bit more disgusting. But other than that, this look is pretty much done. So to finish the look, I just added a gray contact lens into my right eye. If you have any more theatrical sort of lenses, like the whiteout lens or an actual zombie contact lens, you can put that in and it'll make it look real too. The only ones I have right now are gray. But make this look as creative as you'd like, and once you've finished the blood, put in your contact, put on your crown, this look is complete.
So this is her all completed. She's like pretty, and then the cut itself is like really simple. I didn't add too much detailing, like I didn't do veins or bruising. I pretty much wanted this to be as easy for somebody that's like, this is their first time or their 10th time doing a zombie look. I wanted to make it easy for all levels so you could scare the crap out of people this year. So this is it completed. I love this flappy skin. This is my favorite part of the look. I love when the skin is flappy because it really throws people off because they're like, how do they do it? Again, if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that I wasn't clear on, please leave a question, comment down below. I wanted to make this as easy as possible for you guys, and I want you to be able to be a pro at this. Like, I learned this all by myself, and I just kept practicing it, and then I eventually got better at it, and now I'm like skilled enough to a point where I'm able to share it with you guys. So please let me know if you have any other questions, and other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing Halloween. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys are having a great day, staying cool if you're in San Diego, away from this like crazy heat. But other than that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.